Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Healed and Chilled. And today we have yet another wonderful and amazing special guest. And you guys know how we do it here. I like my guests to have control of the narrative. So, if you would, can you please introduce yourself in your own words from your own point of view? And we'll dive right into the interview.
Sounds fantastic. Well, my name's Rob Rene, and I am what I call myself a faith and health warrior. So I love to
Mm,
help people with their health, and if they're interested in understanding what I believe in my faith, then I'm interested in helping them with that. But I always lead with health because, man, if you can't get off the couch and
mm,
be a productive member of society, then there's a problem. So we need
yeah.
to help you get off of there, and then I think that you can make a difference in this world, and that's what I'm super passionate about.
Mm. I love that. So you said a warrior with that piece. So can you break down what it means to be like a warrior in the space of like helping people become their best self, helping people believe in themselves and in a greater awareness. But like, I really appreciate if you could break down like what does it mean to be a warrior in that space?
Yeah, it's important, I think, because man, there's our health is declining dramatically in the
Mm,
US especially, and it just I've uncovered a lot of reasons why I think that's happening, and I'm just so
mm,
passionate about it that I just like, hey, I'm fighting for you, not for I'm fighting for my health as well and my family's health. That's where I started,
mhm.
but man, now I'm
Okay.
in this world where I just want to just take the bull by the horns and just say, hey, what? You can make a big difference in your own health if you just take control of it.
Mm,
So be a warrior for yourself, right? Do your own research, do find out
yes.
these natural things that can help you in a really dramatic way, and then you use modern medicine where it makes sense and where it can help you. And I'm just a shining example of where natural medicine makes a huge difference, but then also where modern medicine can make a difference as well. So. That's what I mean by being a warrior. I'm gonna fight for people's health, and
Mm.
I'm gonna win.
I love that. I love that. So, can you share it with us? How did you get onto this journey? Like, were you always interested in health and helping people? Because there are so many ways and avenues that we can help
Gosh,
one another. And so, you specifically are focused on the health. And, like, I believe health is wealth because without your health, everything else kind of just doesn't feel as good, unfortunately, when you're
right,
concerned
right.
about your health first. So, how did you end up on the path of helping people become their own health warrior, but also deciding like this is going to be the way that I choose to impact the world around me?
Yeah, it's an amazing story because literally, if you would have asked me 5 years ago if I'm doing what I'm doing today, I would say you're absolutely insane. There's no way I'm going to be doing what I'm doing today. I grew up as a young athlete, right? I loved running and I
Okay.
played all sorts of sports, but running was just the thing that I excelled at. I was better at that than anything else. And one of the things I learned, a lesson that I learned early on was how important nutrition was to
Mhm.
my running. I read a book called Eat to Win, and that book was really impactful on my how I fueled my body to be a distance runner, which is what I was, and it really helped me dramatically. My competitors were eating hot dogs and pizza, and I'm
Oh
eating really
no.
healthy food. And at the end of the race, I always had an extra oomph or an extra kick, and so I learned
Mm.
that really important early on. And then God has just this amazing way of training you. And I look at it now, look back on it, and it's like
Mhm.
he has me here for a specific purpose, and I finally feel
Yes.
I'm in that purpose. But the road to get here is absolutely crazy because one, running
Mm.
was a big thing, like I mentioned. I wanted to be a professional runner. I got a full ride running scholarship to a school, and
Oh
I was on my
wow.
way. I was the second best miler in the country, and then I got hit by a 4x4 truck that almost ended my life. It threw me
Oh my
36 feet. I
gosh.
landed straight on my face. I was unconscious, and my nose was bleeding, so it clogged my throat. And I'm just super blessed to be alive. I was actually
Oh my
saved that day by my
gosh.
friend who unclogged my throat, and I was able to then breathe, but until the paramedics got there. But that had a dramatic shift in my life because I was, on this
Yeah.
path to be an athlete, and then boom, that was like, okay, nope, you're not gonna do that anymore. So
Mm.
I went in to do what the world told me to do. I said, okay, I'm gonna
Mm.
finish getting a college degree. I'm gonna get a job at a large corporation. And I'm gonna have a wife and kids and have a house with a white picket fence, and I'm gonna have a
Mm,
dog. And I did everything that the world told me to do, and I had a great
mhm,
career, but it wasn't anything that was satisfying to me. And then
mm.
boom, a second truck hit me. But this wasn't a physical truck this time. It was the same truck that
Oh.
hit you, right? The
Mm.
pandemic, right? That
Mm.
pandemic, I call it a truck because had
Yeah.
the same effect on my life. It's like, okay, I'm on this
Mhm.
career path. I'm working for a large corporation.
Yep.
I'm making money, and everything's good. And then boom, all of a sudden I lose my job because I can't travel.
Oh,
And
man.
so because I was a traveling sales executive,
Mhm.
and it was like, okay, so that ended. So then I started doing research on, okay, early on. I'm like, how do I save my family from this, this
Mm.
new thing that's killing people and scaring everybody in the whole world?
Yeah.
And so I dug into that. Man, that's where I learned this amazing skill of research, right? And
Mm.
researching for myself rather than for what other people think. So I don't believe anything anybody tells me anymore until I can go validate it for myself, because
Yeah.
the information is controlled. I found out, and there's a narrative
Mhm.
that's being thrown at us from all angles. And
Yep.
if we aren't careful, you fall into that narrative really, really easy. And
Yep.
they're really good at it. They're really, really good at it. And
Mm.
so, but once you see the corruption and you see the vilification of information, and then
Mhm.
I did the research on the health industry, and that was what woke me up to this and put me on fire for helping people with their health. Was
Mm.
our pharmaceutical system is just set up for profit, not for helping people, right?
Yep.
Like, we are the most prosperous nation in the world, and we spend more money on our healthcare system in the world, and we have the worst healthcare system.
Yep.
Like, how is that possible, right? That doesn't make any logical
Yep.
sense. So that's what got me on fire. So I just like, okay, I knew, and I believe God trained me for all this, because I wouldn't have known about nutrition. I probably wouldn't have been passionate about helping people with health when COVID came around, because it was like, I didn't know what was going on, but geez, I knew that whatever God put on this earth for us and that we eat, how it transforms our body. So I started doing a lot of
Mhm.
research related to that, and I'm like, oh wow, this is amazing. I'm going to try to help people with natural solutions. So that got me on
Right.
fire for that. And then just my relationship with the Lord came through that process where I started reading the Bible every day instead of just going to
Mm.
church on Sunday, which I did for decades, where I'd go to church Sunday, and then as soon as the door hit me in the butt, I didn't think about God. I didn't think about church until
Mhm.
like next Sunday, right? And then I was like,
Right.
oh,
Right.
I was on fire during the service. I'm like, that was a great sermon, great today. And then boom, Monday, I'm like, what was that sermon about?
Right.
I never picked up the word. I never did anything. But once I started getting into the Bible every day, it became so
Mhm.
exciting because I have now a personal relationship with my Lord and Savior, and it's super exciting. And I'm really here to help people learn that if they're interested, because it is amazing. It's a feeling that you'll never um, be sad about, something that you'll just be super excited about. And you have this friend, you have this mentor, you have this person that you can communicate with all times, and he's here with you and to help you live this amazing life that we do have. So, anyway, that's
Right.
the long-winded answer to to get there.
Well, I always say if you can't be long-winded when you're being interviewed on a podcast, like where else can you be? So
That's
you're
true.
you're in the perfect space
I
to
like it.
just share review, and it does provide some more context as well, because I think it's really important to know who, like, understand different perspectives, and like
Right, right.
when, especially coming from like the athlete perspective. Granted, I was a cheerleader, and some people say that's not an athlete, but I
Oh, of
know it
course it is.
definitely is.
Yeah, you guys,
Thank
yeah,
you.
work your butt
Thank you.
off.
Right. But your whole life is revolved and centered around your sport for a while, and
Yeah,
then
yep,
all of a sudden it's gone. And so
yep,
for someone who, like, I chose to leave cheerleading because I was in school and I wanted to be on the royal court, so I was like, okay. But even so, I cried after, and it was my decision, but I'm like, I keep having to cheer at games. I can't do the stuff that I want to do for the royal court because I'm always at the game. So
right,
I made
right.
the decision to leave. But I can't imagine, as especially as a young person, and like that's where you're trying to go, and then the decision is kind of made for you in a
Right.
way.
Yeah.
So you were still resilient and able to, regardless of what that might have looked like at the time. And then with the pandemic, as like you said, it was just it was a surplus of negativity just everywhere you
Yes.
looked. It was just negative, negative, negative everywhere. And then
Everything.
it
Yep.
seemed,
Where's
yeah,
your mask?
and
6 feet
right,
apart. All the everyone's like, oh my gosh, everything, no matter what you do, you're in
right.
trouble, right?
Exactly. It was just like it was scary, like you said, and everyone had everything shifted as well because it's like a whole new way of looking at things.
Mm.
So, I see a pattern of like resilience in your story of like, okay, a choice that was out of your control happened, but you were able to come back and recenter. So was that because of your relationship with God? Was that something that you always had, was a level of resiliency, and then it was, added on because of your relationship with God? And just curious, like what that looked like and how that later translated into, okay, now I'm going into the health space because I
Right.
already like it's something you were doing before as an athlete, but now you can help people become their own warriors.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I love that's a really, really good question. I think it's just innate in the way God made me is I'm just super
Mm,
competitive. I'm the baby
mm.
of three boys, and
Oh,
so
okay.
my brothers are 4 years older than me and then 7 years older than me. So I just got my butt kicked when I was young, right? It was like, and then I in turn was not very nice when I was young because I would just take it out on other kids.
Mm,
So I was a bully when
understood.
I was in grade school, and so but I just had this innate desire to win and to be competitive and just to for some reason it was just always there. So of course that accident was devastating, right? It was like my entire life just literally everything I
Yeah.
was planning for and working for 10 years just boom in an instant was gone. And the aftermath was not pretty, right? It took me a long time to recover, and mentally I was really in a bad spot. I couldn't be around
Mhm.
running. I couldn't walk on a street and
Yeah.
have cars coming from behind me
Oh,
because it
wow.
just would freak me out. So I couldn't
Mhm.
ride a bike on the street or on the sidewalk or
Wow.
anything like that. It was just really traumatic. But
Mhm.
I still, you're right. I was like, okay, what do I do now, right? And so I went
Right.
into this process. My brothers kind of joke about my life in the respect that it's like I'm on my ninth life, right? It's like I'm my cat. I
Mm.
it's like you need
I
to be careful.
understand.
You need to be careful with this one because I and literally I just had another crazy moment last Friday. So just not even a week ago that I know for a fact that God has me on this earth
Mm.
for a particular reason because
Yeah.
if he didn't, I wouldn't be here, and I'd be in a better
Yeah.
place. I think, all right, and when I go to heaven, that's my belief that it's going to be in a glorious place. But man, I've tried to get there, not on my own behalf,
Yeah.
but I've almost died a number of times, and it's just like I'm not
Same.
right. So he still has plans for me, and I want
Mm.
to instill that in every single person that listens to this. Is like, hey, did you wake up today? Do you have breath in your
Mm.
lungs? If you
Mm.
woke up and have breath in your lungs, God has a plan for you.
Yep.
Not for your friend, not for your wife, not for your brother or mother. He has a plan for you. You have breath in
Yep.
your lungs, so there's a reason why you're here. So just start understanding that. And then when you start understanding that, you can become a better person because you're like, oh gosh, I do have a purpose. What is my
Mm.
purpose? What should I
Yeah.
be doing? How should I be doing it? I should love people. I shouldn't get mad at my wife for doing that. I shouldn't, I should
Mhm.
actually love people. And so anyway, that's just a really important aspect because once you get that feeling inside you that you are there for a purpose, and then
Yeah.
you can start having you start figuring things out. So that's why I love health because like if you're laying on the couch exhausted and you don't feel well, then you can't do anything, right? You can't make an impact.
Mm.
You can't do anything. So
Nope.
I want you to get off the couch. I want you to go have fun. I want you to go talk to your neighbors. I want you to go talk to your friends. I want you to live this life. You play with your children or your
Yep.
grandchildren and just live life full. And when
Mm.
you do, it's you're going to have a glorious life and you're going to impact the world in a positive way. So I'm
Yeah.
really, just stoked about helping people, with their health. And then as they get their health, then I want to, hopefully introduce them to the Lord. And if they want to join me there, it's going to be a glorious, glorious occasion for everybody.
I love that. And as someone who's had my fair share of almost leaving this planet experiences as well, I can
Wow. High
definitely
five.
uh, I can definitely relate. I'll tell a quick one because just to put some perspective, but a long time ago when I was a child, I was still in elementary school, we were
Yeah.
swimming on a lake and it was like dads watching us. So they were kind of like preoccupied fishing type thing. And
Oh, right.
we didn't have like because I couldn't swim either at the time, but I was all about the fun. So we didn't have on life jackets and things. So we're like underneath the boat and I'm holding on to this noodle. And one of the other kids, it could only be three other children, but one of them pulled the noodle from
Oh,
out of my
no.
arm and I'm literally under the boat. So I
Oh,
start sinking like under the water.
literally.
Yeah. And then this is why like I know that there's no doubt in my mind that like God or there's something happening here because in the middle of the lake I felt a step and so I stepped on it and then it pushed me out of the water and I looked up and I grabbed the noodle and if it wasn't for
What
yeah like to this day like I don't know what that was because I was in the middle of Lake Norman in Charlotte and it literally pushed me out of the water. So I
That's
totally, yeah,
amazing.
I'll
Yeah.
never forget that.
I'll bet.
So yeah, but I just wanted to share for like anyone that's listening and as well, it seems like the more I'm learning from people, the more I see like the more unfortunately like adversity that we experience, it seems like the more there is a larger calling on your life rather than just like like a mundane life, so to speak.
Right.
So it seems like just from listening to you and hearing how passionate you are about helping others, I'm noticing like a pattern. There's something in this world that
Yep.
if you really want to help others, there's another force that's like, get out of here, get out
Yeah.
of here. But there's a
Yeah.
bigger force that's like, this person is here for a reason. This person is doing things and they're not finished. So I'm curious to know, with that said, what are you doing for people? Like if they're like, okay, I want to be a health warrior. I want to do my health. Like what would I come to you for? And then how could you help us expand as people?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question. I love that
Thank
because
you.
I've created a couple of health solutions companies that just help people with their health with supplementation, right? Is one of the things. So I have a health supplement company called Exodus Strong, and that supplement is
Mm.
amazing. But what I like to do, even before talking about that, I want to talk to people about 5 things you can do that's 100% free, right? So
Oh, well,
and
go on.
when you do that, you're gonna say you're gonna transit in a week from now. If you do these things for a week, you're gonna come back and say, "Oh my gosh, that guy was, amazing." In the respect that I don't care, I don't want you to call me amazing. I just want you to feel amazing. It's because what's
Right,
the
right, right.
cool thing about these are free. So do these 5 things.
Mhm.
So the first
Okay.
one is just drink enough water, right? Hydrate. And like, oh, that sounds simple. Yes, but you have to have like I'm 200 pounds, so I need 100 ounces of water. So you need
Oh,
half an ounce of water for every body weight that you are every single day.
oh,
And that's a
didn't
lot
know
of
that.
lot of water for most people. And then most people are not getting that. So if you can
Mm-mm.
get good water in, make sure it's filtered because there's a lot of bad water out there. But just get good water,
Mm.
and that's the first one. The second one is get out in the morning and get the vitamin D in to your body. So get that first
Mm.
45 minutes of sun is called blue light. And it's just very healthy light. There's no UV rays in it. It's like really, really
Oh,
helpful
wow.
for your skin and for your body. And then I like to combine two other things while I'm doing that. So you get your feet on the God's given earth. And when you
Mm.
take your socks and shoes
Yes.
off and get your feet on the earth, you discharge the negative energy and you recharge your body. And it's literally a scientific proven fact. It's not something that I just got, made up or, some woo-woo doctor
Mhm.
told me to do this. It's my wife used to tell me to do it. I'm like, you're crazy. I have put sensitive feet. I don't want to put my feet out on the grass. It's gonna, tickle me or whatever. But man,
Mhm.
when I learned the science behind it, I literally every single day I go ground, I get the sun on my face,
Mm.
And then the third one, so that's three of the things: grounding, get sun and water. But then the
Hmm.
fourth one is breathing. So of course, I talked about that a few minutes ago. If you have breath in your lungs, God has a plan for your life. But
Mm.
guess what?
Yep.
We all breathe. But if you breathe intentionally, it's amazing. There's studies that have shown if you breathe consistently like this every single day, and I'll talk about how to do that. There's a Wim Hof is a great way to look at this. WIMHOFF. If you just search, do a Google search or a YouTube search on Wim Hof, he's got these techniques that you do. It's like takes you 7 or 8 minutes. Involves breathing deep and using your stomach and then breathing out and doing that in a specific pattern. It can extend your life by 7 years just by
Oh,
breathing
wow.
and doing this specific technique. So it really gets really good oxygen inside your body and helps you and dramatically just by doing these simple breathing techniques. So
Oh,
you can
wow.
do that while you're getting sun and you can do it while you're grounding. You do
Hmm.
knock three of them out in 10 minutes, right? It's like, bam, you've
Hmm.
got three out of the five already done. You drink some water throughout the day. Life is good. You're going to transform. And then the fifth
Mm.
one is just nutrition, right? So stop eating the ultra processed foods that 70% of our
Mm.
food is. Drink
Yeah.
whole food, right? Natural foods and get nutrients within the foods because when you get those nutrients, I believe that God gave us everything we need to be healthy. If we,
Mm.
in on the earth, and I'll talk about Exodus later, but the reason why we built that company is just to help people with that nutrient part. Because man, if you give your body the nutrients that it needs, it will heal itself. God made this
Mm.
body of ours so complex that they're still trying to figure it out. I mean, even though our doctors are amazing and
Yeah.
scientists are amazing, they're still figuring out like frequencies, how frequencies impact your body, and this is quantum energy fields that are around us, and so there's lots of things about our body that are still being discovered. And so,
Hmm.
but
Yep.
through all the research I've done, and I have a podcast called I Am Pain Free, and I interview lots of holistic doctors
I love
that
that.
all talk about your health starts in your gut. So you need to get the right nutrients
Mm.
in your body, and then when you get nutrients in your bodily functions start working the way that God designed them. And then your body does what? It starts healing itself. It's like so magical,
Mm.
right? Your body will heal itself if you give it the right nutrients. So
Yep.
start with those five things, and
Yep.
man, you're going to transform your life in a major way. And then you're just like, okay, this guy isn't as strange as I thought he was when I first started listening to him. He's got some nuggets, and then I'm going to help you with some supplementation that's going to take you to the next level, and you're going to feel amazing, and you're going to be going, wow, this is awesome. So
I love that. Yeah, and I can say like I have seen with my own eyes that nutrition does make a huge difference in your health. And like my mom I was like, well, I gotta send this to my mom because she loves like researching natural cures and remedies and
awesome,
all these
awesome.
different things. So
I love her
she's
already.
right, right, me too. But she has healed a lot of like ailments with myself or my siblings just by like changing the way that we're eating, and things will start to just heal things that doctors will say, oh well, this is, you're just gonna have to deal with this, you're gonna have to take some medicine. She's like, mm, okay, especially because there are times where like doctors might like misdiagnose you and things like that. So
Yeah,
she'll do her own research and then
good for
go
her.
into health space, and then there hasn't been anything. Oh, let me knock on wood before I say that
Yeah,
too
there you
loud. But
go.
hasn't been anything she hasn't been able to fix through nutrition. And you mentioned that you also have supplements, which is Exodus. So can
Yeah,
you speak on supplements? Because for some people that sounds a little bit scary, and it's like, well, and then
yeah,
it's like, well, you just said that God has everything for us. So why would I need to take a supplement? What are
yeah.
they? And then
Yeah.
how would that help me get to the next level?
Yeah, that's awesome question. See, what we did is I was doing all the research on the Bible, right? It's looking at all the herbs and superfoods in the Bible. And I was like praying that
Oh,
God help
wow.
me find something that's like a combination that no one's ever come up with that really make a
Mm.
difference in the world. And I found a lot of cool ingredients that were amazing, but nothing that was like earth shattering that was different than what's already out on the market. But what
Mm,
happened is I was then led to a practitioner who had this molecular hydrogen blend that is kind of the modern science combined with our ancient science. Our ancient science
mm,
are the biblical ingredients, and this modern science is a molecular hydrogen blend. So we took his molecular hydrogen blend and what it does to your body, and we added the seven best complementary ingredients from the Bible that help your body. And so this molecular
okay.
hydrogen is so fascinating because it helps your body at the mitochondrial level. It helps, which is where
Oh,
your the
wow.
energy process of your blood and then when with that energy process, it starts being more efficient. It help the molecular hydrogen helps that, but also gets rid of the bad stuff inside your blood. So
Mm,
the free radicals that aren't supposed to be there, it gets rid of. So it helps
mm,
clear out your bloodstream. It's called an antioxidant, and then the herbal ingredients that come from the Bible are organic barley grass and organic wheatgrass, which give you the nutrients that you need, the energy that
mm,
you need from your food. And then we have saffron, which helps with stress response. So anxiety,
oh,
people that have
wow.
anxiety and stuff like that, has been known
Love
to
that.
help with. And you have cumin, which is or aloe is the next one I like to talk about because it's like start the gut health thing we talked about.
Hmm.
It really helps with your gut health. And then we have cumin, frankincense, and myrrh. Those are the frankincense and myrrh were given to baby
Mm,
Jesus by the three kings, and so but there's lots of health benefits for those, and a lot of it's inflammation response. So
oh, wow.
most people are in some type of discomfort, and you can use an inflammation component to reduce that inflammation, and then things start feeling a lot better. So you combine those seven biblical ingredients with the power of molecular hydrogen, which helps with all of those, by the way. Everything I
Mhm.
mentioned earlier, molecular hydrogen helps with. So you just get such a stronger effect by combining those. That's just amazing for your health. And then we really believe in the mind body spirit connection,
Mm,
right? Your mind is
yes.
so powerful, right? You can literally will yourself into doing things that you didn't know you could do,
Yep.
and you literally mind can control your body, which is really strange, but it also is true. You can do research on it yourself. You don't have to just believe me, but your mind can actually make your body do things that you didn't know could be possible. But then the spirit, I think, my belief in God is that so we have a prayer guide that goes with every
Oh,
product
wow.
that we sell. So it's got a prayer for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it has an intention and a Bible verse and a prayer. So if you just say those out loud, you're using your mouth to declare it, like the Bible tells us there's power in the tongue. And then you're
Mm,
using your eyes to read it and your ears to hear yourself say it. And so you're communicating this. And by combining that with the actual capsules that you put in your body, the combination of those two is just something that doesn't exist in the market today. This whole
mm-mm.
mind body spirit connection is real, and we're like
Yeah.
one of the only companies I've ever heard of that that combine those to really
Yeah.
help you in a dramatic way. So there's lots of science behind all of our products, all the
Mhm.
ingredients within it, and there's thousands of studies on molecular hydrogen and how it helps the body, and all the individual ingredients have been scientifically proven. So the combination is something that's never been done, and we've got that. So it's really fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so, what made you come up with the name Exodus? And like, how were you guided? You mentioned this is like a two-parter. So, what made you
Yeah.
come up with the name? And then you mentioned that you were reading the Bible and then you were looking for the ingredients that stood out. How did you know, like, oh, this I want to go with the weed, or how did you pick the ingredients based on everything that you probably read throughout your
Yep.
research of trying
Yep.
to come up with Exodus?
That's right. That's another very, very good question. The first one is Exodus is just an awesome book in the Bible that's memorable. People will do, but there's an awesome verse that we even have on our bottle. It says, "For I am the Lord your healer." It's
Mm,
Exodus 15:26. So that's really at the heart of what it is. It's like we're not healing anybody. The Lord is
mm,
your healer. We're just giving you nutrients that are going to help your body do what it needs to do, right? And when your
mm,
body, we give it the right nutrients, I told you earlier, I believe that your body will heal itself. And it's not us
Yeah.
that's healing it, it's the Lord. That's
Mm.
our belief. So that's where Exodus came from, Exodus 15:26. And then the ingredients were super important because when I found out about molecular hydrogen, I'm like, okay, that's amazing. And we were doing all the research on what it can do to the body and how it can help. And I'm like, let's enhance that with the seven best ingredients. Seven is just an amazing number in the Bible. That was one. We had like listed 22 different ingredients, and they all help with different things within the body. But these
Mm.
seven specifically were complementary to the hydrogen. So we took that,
Mm.
and so it really amplifies the power of the hydrogen, and hydrogen amplifies the power of all the ingredients. So it's just a perfect marriage where you don't need to take the green shake in the morning. You don't need to take
Mm.
your anxiety medicine. Yeah, in my opinion, right? I think you
Well,
can use
yeah.
Exodus to do these instead of five different medications. You can take one and supplement just the natural. Gives you great nutrients, all
Mhm.
100% organic, and it's just amazing product. So that's
Yeah.
how we came up with the specific ingredients. We wanted to be complementary to what the power of that new modern science was showing, that molecular
Mhm.
hydrogen blend.
Awesome. And just for legal reasons, Rob is not telling you guys to, he's not giving you any advice. He's not telling you to put your medicine away. If we'll say just for legal reasons to consult with your doctor or professional beforehand. These are just additional ways that you can enhance your quality of life, enhance your health. But don't come back trying to sue us because
That's
something that you
right.
heard.
I make no claims about any of my products. We're just going to give you the nutrients, and if it helps you, great, right? But we do the fun stories we have of the way it's helping people is dramatic, right? So it's really super fun. Me personally, I had a slow beating heart. There's a condition called bradycardia, and so my heart was only beating in the low 30s. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze.
Oh, go
Stop it.
ahead.
But I would about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I would crash every day because I'm just not getting enough oxygen in my
Oh,
body.
wow.
And but I when I started taking Exodus, it gives me sustained energy, so I don't have that crash. And
Mm.
I would literally probably have a couple, 2 or 3 cups of coffee in the morning, and about 1 o'clock, I was like, if I knew I didn't have time to take a nap, I'd go get a 4 shot latte, right? It's like
Oh,
I
wow.
need a bunch of caffeine to keep me going. And
Mm.
now I don't have to do that because I just have sustained energy throughout the day. We
Mm.
have dozens and dozens, hundreds actually of people who've been using this product that is just helping with that similar situation where it just gives them the really solid energy and
Mm.
helps them recover from athletic endeavors. So if
Mm.
you're working out a lot and you need something to help you recover so you can do it again, this is an amazing product. So inflammation response is really important, but also just energy. You feel better. So
Mm.
just fun.
I love that. And I'm glad that you shared an example as well, just because sometimes it helps paint the picture of like, okay, this is what it does, this is what you can expect, and then this is an experience. So I definitely appreciate that. I'm also curious, how did you come up with with Exodus in general? Like, I understand how you got the recipe and things together, but there's so many ways that you can impact people in health. So
Right.
what made you say, okay, I'm going to go about it this way with supplements and helping people get the additional nutrients that they might not be getting on a daily basis? Because a lot of times we're eating what we think is healthy. Probably myself included, but we're not eating the full spectrum of what our body could use or needs to operate at its fullest
Yeah.
capacity. So
That's right.
what made you go down the avenue of supplements rather than perhaps any other way that you could help someone with health?
Right. That's another. You're asking great questions. And so
Thank
this
you.
one is really important in the respect that I was doing a lot of research on the health industry, right? And when I first got
Hmm.
interested in this world, I'm like, what is going on with our health? Why do we have such a bad healthcare, system? Why are we just, all about money rather than helping
Mm.
people with their health? And during that research, I found out that on the average, our average senior takes 15 different prescription medications in a year.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
in each one of those prescription medications, as you know, when you hear the last 30 seconds of the commercial, it's like, oh, your limb could fall off. Your this could
Yeah.
fall. You have
You're right
all these
though.
things that are like really
Yeah.
bad, right? You're like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want any of those.
Nope.
But then you start combining 15 of them, and they all have side effects because every
Mm.
single drug, no matter what it is, has a side effect.
Yep.
And so, and the specialist doesn't look at you as a whole. So let's say you're going to a kidney specialist. The kidney specialist is going to know exactly how to help your kidney. But by helping your kidney, he may give you a drug or a
Mm.
pill that could affect your liver. And
Yep.
he's not looking at it holistically. So then you go and say, oh, hey, I've got a liver problem now. And then the liver
Mm.
specialist says, oh, well, you've got to take this drug. And then this drug says, oh, you now have high blood pressure. So you need to
Mm.
go be on high blood pressure medicine because this like this cycle.
Cycle.
And
Yep.
that cycle was I saw as really dramatic and really poor. And so I'm like, okay, how do we help people break free from that cycle?
Mm.
And the research that I had done was inflammation as the source of all disease. And I'm like, if we can
Mm.
find something that helps with inflammation, then we can help people with a majority of their health issues. So I'm just
I
like,
love that.
that's amazing. And this molecular hydrogen, when you do the research, you can go look at the studies that have been done of how it does help with, an inflammation response. And that inflammation response is super important. Then we said, okay, let's give the body what it needs. Let's give
Mm.
it the nutrients because most people, let's be honest, don't eat the right foods, right? I was a perfect example of this for decades, so I get it. We're all
Mhm.
busy. We're in a hurry, and there's Starbucks and
Yeah.
there's the drive-throughs, and you're just too busy to cook a whole meal at night, so you get takeout and you buy order pizza, just all the things that we do as a society that's just really literally killing us. And
Yeah.
so if we can give the body nutrients through a supplement, then that just gives them a leg up, right? So just helps
Mm.
them. They can still eat poorly, and as long as they're taking and having some nutrients, at least they're
Right.
they're better off than not. So that
Mhm.
was a really important factor. And then we just literally looked at all the benefits of what the hydrogen does and says, how can we enhance that piece of it?
Mm.
So we found the right ingredients that match that specific benefit. But really, inflammation was the core, and that's why we wanted to do this. Is like I want to help these, society, one not have to get to the point where they have to take as many
Mm.
prescription medications. But if you are on a lot of
Yeah.
them, let's see if we can reduce a couple of them, right? And
Mhm.
if we can reduce a couple of them, you're going to start feeling better. And then I got
Mhm.
into the whole biohacking, like how do we really help people just with free or inexpensive tools, or even if they're expensive, fine. If we can find a way to get them, right, and or have
Right.
people let us use them, but what are they, and how do we do these things that can help people? And so I'm just super passionate about that.
I can tell.
How do we help people in a way that is not big pharma or oriented and doesn't need you to take a drug? If we can
Yeah.
get people off of these drugs, man, your mind's going to be clear, your body's
Mhm.
going to be clear, and then you're going to guess what? You're going to have an impact, and that's the whole idea behind what I do is not to be healthy for Rob. It's to really have an impact on the world. So when I meet my Savior at the end of my life, he's gonna say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." That's my
Mm.
that's my goal.
No, I totally that totally resonates. Especially so there's just multiple things that I'm gonna try to
I
touch on
like
that you
sounds good.
said. So one thing also that plays a part in how people just treat themselves in general is the mind as well. So I
Yeah,
like that you guys have the cards that you send out. I feel like that's such a unique out value add
right.
because it's harder when you're depressed or when you don't like your life or when everything under the sun is going wrong and when it's raining like Jim Ron says every time he says after fall winter's coming like it's just the natural progression of how things go and sometimes winter hits harder than others and so a lot of times people will stop prioritizing eating healthy, or they might, it just, everything just kind of goes away. So I like that you have something that's easy to implement in your everyday life, and hopefully through the mindset that you guys are also promoting with the cards and taking the supplements, that can help slowly guide people back to, hey, like, you matter too, and the
Yeah.
whole thing of like, it's not just you doing what you're doing for you, you're doing what you're doing to impact others. And I always say, like, I can resonate with that too. I always say, like, well, when I leave here, if I don't do what is on my heart to do and what I know I'm supposed to be doing, I'm not going to get kicked out for it. I don't that, we
Yeah.
can't, some things we can't control, but like whatever's in my power, I want the next phase of when I leave here, I want to be let in, not like
There you
go back,
go.
do it
That,
again. You
that's
missed
right.
this,
That's
or
right.
even worse, like, well, you wasn't good.
Yeah, no.
Go down
Yeah,
the
I don't want to
hall.
go. I don't
Yeah,
want to go there. Right.
definitely not. So I totally, totally understand and resonate. And I'm just like in full support of what you're doing, because I definitely agree. It's mind, body, soul, spirit. Like, you have to combine all of those things. You
Yeah.
can't just because typically if you don't have a healthy mind, then you typically don't have a healthy body.
Right.
And it if you don't have a healthy mind and a healthy body, then you don't have necessarily a healthy lifestyle, and you're likely not
That's right.
contributing to society. And a lot of times people will say, oh, well, you know, the world is mayhem and chaotic, but we're the only ones that can impact and make a change to change how the world is. So, as I give
That's
my
true.
students and I do give my guests, I'm going to give you a signature round of applause for your
Thank
contribution
you.
to
Thank you. Thank you.
society and
Thank you.
things.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that
And
a lot.
of course, I mean, you definitely deserve it. We are coming up a little bit on time, not to the end, but if is there anything that you wanted to discuss or highlight that you've not had the opportunity to speak on yet, and that we can take it that way?
No, I just think just people need to, understand that God did create our bodies wonderfully and fearfully, and that it made to heal itself. So just give it the right nutrients, do the right
Mm,
things, and then just start remembering that you have a reason that you're here. And
mm,
so, you have breath in your lungs today. So let's start making use of that, and let's start trying to have a positive impact on the world. Because if you
yes.
have a positive impact on the world, and you have gratitude for what you've been given, there's
Mm,
so much amazing things that can happen in your brain and in your mind, that things, instead of
mhm,
having a negative look at things, you can start having a positive look at things.
mm,
And then when you have that positive look on things, positive things start happening. It's just amazing.
yep.
It's not fiction. It's
Mm,
literally something that you can transition to, from being a negative Nilly and the world is
mhm,
gloomy and the glass is half empty, to someone that says, you know what, I do have a purpose. Well, I'm going
mm,
to figure out what that purpose is. And then guess what? I'm going to be gratified and give gratitude for all the things that I have been given. Right.
yep.
And so, because really material things don't mean anything in this world, and that's what I really want to impart, is that your
Mm,
relationship with your family and friends and God, and God
mhm,
most important, is what's really matters, and all the other stuff is just peripheral things. You're not can't
mhm,
take it with you. And
mm,
so, just really, but you have those relationships that are going to last, hopefully, for a very, very long time. So, be responsible to those. And if you have your health, you're going to feel so much
mm,
better about having
yes.
those conversations, about doing things. So start taking care of yourself. And if you
Mm.
start taking care of yourself, then you're going to be a much better friend, person, lover, just human being.
Absolutely. And as someone who previously worked in sales as well, I resonate with that. And when I first graduated, and then a little bit after, like I think like about a year after, I ended up in the sales world. And I was living in Atlanta. I was in a really nice apartment complex, a Fortune 100 company, like everything that on paper is like, this is, if you have this,
Right.
like American society, like it tells you, you have this, and this, and this, you're happy. You have
Yeah.
everything. And I was miserable. I was totally
Yeah.
totally miserable, totally miserable. So,
Yeah.
but like when you're connected with the people that you love and also serving your purpose and serving others, I find that's when I feel good. When I'm talking to people like you or working with my students or volunteering in the community, that's when I feel good. But when I'm just like, oh, I gotta get to this and this and that, then it's like just total misery. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
I have
Love it.
a few questions that are cliche, but I like to ask
Okay.
everybody this. So these are my
I
cliche
like.
questions.
All right,
So,
here we go.
alrighty. So, if you can think of a time when you were younger and you were in a dark space, what is one piece of advice that you know now that you wish you would have known at that time?
Ah, that's a super good question too. Just trying to think of one that would just help hit somebody. Maybe it's here's a great example. Mentioned maybe at one point when I was the youngest of three boys. I was
Mm,
the one that I was a baby, but I ended up turning that into being a bully in grade school.
mm,
And but transition between grade school and middle school was the loneliest summer I've ever had in my entire life. I went through a
mm,
really depressed state because they literally had a hate Robbie club in my grade school
oh
because I was
man.
just not nice. I was a mean young boy
Mm,
and I'd beat up the other kids in my class. And
mm,
that was the transition to period to where I've learned it wasn't about me, it was about how I treat other people is
mm.
what's important. And so I literally had a shift during that summer. And ever since then, I have not been in any altercations or any fights,
Oh, good.
from that particular day on for the rest of my
Mm,
life because I just transitioned to being a mad and angry person and being a bully to others to understanding that there's love in this world and
mm.
that to be friendly and nice to people is the way that God wants us to be, not the other. So maybe that will help someone.
Absolutely. All right. My second cliche question is well, this one isn't as cliche, but we never know, like with the internet, who can come across this podcast like one way or another.
Right.
So, is there any um, is there any way someone who could help you reach the next level of where you see your company or yourself, is there anything that someone could do to help you get to your goal or wherever you see yourself or your company going next?
Yeah, I mean, let's just take one. Tim Tebow. This is Tim Tebow. If I could meet Tim Tebow and have a real conversation with him, I love him because he's a great athlete, but he does everything that for God's glory, not for him. And he's always
Mm,
been that way since he was an athlete in college and then just in his life in general. He's making such a big impact on the world, and I want to have an impact like him. So I would love for
mm,
him to look at me and say, even though I'm older than him, for him to say, young man, here's what I would do if I was you, and here's how I can help you help
mm,
others. And that would be just a glorious thing that would, because I literally have a heart to help others. And if I have
mm-hmm.
someone of his influence who's already doing it, right,
Right.
he could give me a shortcut path to like saying,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, you need to go meet this person, you need to get this
Mm-hmm.
person, and then I would just accelerate my giving to the world and my impact on the world by having that relationship. So there you
I
go.
love that. Well, Tim Tebow, you heard it. You
Let's
never
talk.
know. You
Let's
never
talk, my
know.
friend.
Oh, righty. And so then the before I ask my closing question, because that's more about like how can we find you, is there anything now that we're about to close out that you're like, oh, I wish I would have said this, or I wish I would have covered that, or anything like that that you're like, oh, I want to be able to share that? If so, then now's your time.
All right, perfect. There's one other thing I didn't mention was a QE Strong, the quantum energy strong business of ours is a
Mm,
skin patch business that uses frequencies instead of it's like a little patch you put on your body that connects to the energy system in your body and helps with relief helps with allergic components. It helps with stress or
Oh,
things
wow.
like that. We have 14 different products, and it just is amazing company that I don't talk a lot about, but is a complement to our supplement. Our supplement is really Exodus is where we're spending a lot of time and effort on because I think it's such an impactful product in the world. But these patches have helped thousands of people, and
Oh,
so I don't
wow.
want to ignore that and let people know that this frequency stuff is real. Our
Mm,
body's made up of energy, which who know
yes.
I didn't know that, and that frequencies can have a physical impact on the body. So when you apply
Mhm.
this, it literally kind of interrupts the signal from the issue that you're having, and your brain doesn't realize that you're having that particular issue. So you feel better. So it's
Oh,
really a
wow.
nice complement to what we're doing on the supplement space.
Yeah, that sounds fascinating. You're definitely in the right space for anything regarding frequencies and raising vibrations and things because
Awesome.
we are everything we see is energy. It's just
That's
some
right.
of it is
That's right.
just not moving as quickly, so we can't physically see that. But I'm so excited. So,
Yeah.
last question is how can we find you if we want to work with you? Buy your products. Like, of course, I'm going to link your websites and things in
I
the
appreciate that.
description, of course. But just how do we reach out to you? And then what's the best way? Email, Instagram, website, all the important things.
Awesome. So exodusstrong.com is the best way to get a hold of me because I spent most of my time working with that brand and with that company and what we're doing there. It's real exciting. I do have a podcast. I'm just rebranding that podcast to the Biohackingville podcast, which will
Mm.
be really exciting. We're building a community of communities within that. That's going to be
Oh,
the first
wonderful.
biohacking community that has a faith-based aspect to it. So you're going to talk about biohacking just in general. We're going to have integrative oncology because I'm very passionate about helping people with cancer. And then we
Mm,
also have a faith-based component to that community. So that is going to be in 12 months from now. Biohackingville is going to be ginormous because I
mm.
know it's going to have a big impact on the world. So uh, there you go.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Rob Rene, this was a wonderful, fascinating conversation. It was so cool to hear how passionate, it's very clear how passionate you are about helping people achieve their health, becoming their own health warriors. That is sticking out to me, a health and faith warrior. It's sticking out so much.
Awesome.
So I'm just in full support. If you ever want to come back, the invite's open, the door is open. I'm rooting for you and I'll be so excited. I know people that are listening to this will feel like they've learned so much about health in general, and then how your supplement Exodus can also help them elevate their quality of life
Amen.
mentally, physically, spiritually, all the alleles that we care about, you got
Yeah.
covered. All right. Well, I hope you had a
Beautiful.
great time. And for everyone that's listening, we'll see you or you'll hear us in the next episode.
God bless you all.
Bye.